Something wonderful happened to me today. A millennial left a snarky comment on my channel by saying this: "Okay, boomer." Why is it wonderful, you ask? Because apparently they actually think it's a clever insult. Stick around, watch how big boys play. Okay, boom. Hey guys, it's God's Comic Brad Stine, and I have a confession to make. I'm a baby boomer. This was not my choice, by the way. It just happens to be the moment in history I vacated the womb. Nevertheless, because of this reality, I didn't grow up with social media as my guide as to how to present myself to humanity. Things were different. I had friends, for example, who came in the package of biological three-dimensional beings, as opposed to people I've never met who friended me by pushing a button on their computer in Iceland and instantly became a follower. Follower? What, am I, a messiah suddenly? Boomers didn't grow up taking photos of ourselves to send to others, which would have been considered extremely narcissistic. But we actually used our film cachet taking pictures of friends and family we actually knew and loved and admired. I had a millennial try to insult me the other day on the comments section of one of my episodes. Let me think. I think it was the episode where I proved I was superior to them. Anyways, they did it by using this phrase: "Okay, boomer." I'll admit it, I'm boomer enough not to know what it meant, because it's a phrase that's found its way within the social media infrastructure, and because I, unlike millennials, don't actually spend all of my waking moments being instructed in what I'm allowed to think through these circles, I wasn't up on the current trends. You always know it's a current trend because by the time a mature, intelligent adult like myself and others of my era stumble across it, it's outdated. You ever notice, by the way, how quickly millennial trends just kind of come and go? They never stick around long, do they? Maybe because they're usually dumb. Anyways, had to go on to the internet to find out what "okay, boomer" meant. You heard me, the internet. You know, the world-changing means of communicating ideas daily in an instant that millennials literally can't survive without. And that has revolutionized how humans worldwide interact and connect, and was leveraged and made commonplace by boomers. In fact, the very technology that you're staring at right now was brought to you by the likes of revolutionary heroes such as Steve Jobs or Bill Gates. That's right. Okay, boomers. Now, my research stated that "okay, boomer" is an insult towards people born between 1945 and 1965. It's an insult inherently proposing that people that fit in that age category, well, they can be safely ignored because they're too old to understand things that are explained on the boomer-facilitated internet, or boomer-created personal computers, or on boomer-popularized cell phones. I think you get an idea where I'm heading here. Even though it was directed at me personally, I think it speaks to a much broader and sadder issue in that children from the ages of 18 to 30 have become maybe the first group in human history that apparently have been taught that to gather wisdom and life experience from those who've gone before you and blaze the trails you're marching on is no longer important. The idea of not only respecting your elders, but to hold them somewhat in awe, apparently, well, that's a bygone virtue. Meanwhile, millennials are teaching themselves, excuse me, not teaching, that would fall in the category of education, but instead are being indoctrinated in the idea that all of us boomers who have bought and sold more than one house, invented or refined the greatest scientific breakthroughs of the last 60 years, have acquired trillions of dollars in assets, and are still around to pass this information on to their progeny, are of no use to them. Humanity throughout history has learned the incredibly crucial lesson that there's one thing that can only be learned by getting older. A younger person can gather information, education, knowledge, and facts about a plethora of topics in history, but the one thing you can't buy, can't even acquire by education or degree, is perspective. Only those who have lived numerous experiences, both good and bad, can begin to garner wisdom, which is the culmination of information and life experience, combined with analyzing the history that has preceded you. This is the basis for being a conservative. We believe in the age-old wisdom of conserving age-old wisdom. I joke about millennials because you, unfortunately, have the reputation for being maybe the most fragile, weak, and vapid generation in U.S. history. The proof of this is when you fail, you've learned the leftist technique that failure is never your fault, but is in fact the fault of those that haven't given you even more free stuff without working for it, in order to give you more time to complain about what you don't have. If you're millennial or Gen X or Gen Z or any other letter of the alphabet you haven't learned yet, you need to know that every time you say, "Okay, boomer," you're literally admitting you don't care what someone says to you that is more successful, wealthy, educated, more wise, and accomplished. Mainly because all you care about is you're not wealthy, successful, accomplished, or open-minded, or tolerant, or wise. And it's your parents' fault. You're literally proving that everything we accuse you of is not only true, but you've confirmed it. So you retort with an insult instead of contemplation, and maybe just once, taking personal responsibility for yourself. But best of all, you seal your shallow insult by having your names attached, so everyone can see what failure's name is. Your insult is figuratively, see, I use that word literally, accurately, shooting yourself in the foot and blaming the gun. That doesn't embarrass you? Remember, the word boomer implies power, explosion, an uncontrollable force. Whereas millennial, Gen X, and Gen Z is so innocuous, has to be described by a passage of time or a letter as opposed to a whole word. The letter implies a word is coming, but you're too lazy to think of it yet. Yeah, well, the boomers are here to give you your marching orders. We've been where you are, and we figured it out. Changed the world forever, and have had the decency and the obligation to help guide you through the fog in order to allow you the opportunity to go forth and do the same for those behind you. Yet, you'd rather mock and ridicule the wise and blame your failure to launch on the people who left you a map for your journey. Instead, you need to be carried because it's scary out there and the monsters might eat us. Put a helmet on. There has historically been the phrase boom or bust. A boom town grew fast, was exciting, had room for everyone, and especially if they wanted to succeed. A bust, that was a failure and destruction of what started out as a good idea but became a pipe dream. So, from now on my show, for all you millennials to Gen whatever letter, this boomer's calling you all busters because you broke everything we handed you and then cried that it was our fault. Hey guys, we still are here, so you haven't lost your chance to learn, but it starts with respecting your elders, humbling yourselves, and sitting at our feet so we can teach you something. Or stick to your arrogance. Leave not only a worse country for your kids, actually no country at all. So here's my prediction. All the busters are now going to leave a comment on my thread below saying, "Okay, boomer," whatever. I can't make you grow up if you don't want to. Well, busters, the truth is boomers have already proven our accomplishments, whereas you guys haven't done anything that's noteworthy. Yet. Sit back, boomers. Watch the fun. Busters' incompetence admissions arriving shortly. Okay? Boom! Told ya. Hey guys, for all of you who want to pay tribute to Steve Jobs, go ahead and take your Mac and push the subscribe button right now to Brad Stine Has Issues on YouTube. You know, that boomer-created construct. Anyways, go out there, subscribe, Brad Stine Has Issues, share, show everybody that us boomers aren't even done. We haven't even begun to fight. Go subscribe now, or I'm going to have to get my cane so I can walk over and beat you with it.